So in closing, there's two veils that just need to be shredded. They just need to be shredded. 2 Corinthians 3:13, not as Moses, which put a veil over his face, that the children of Israel could not steadfastly look at the end of that which was abolished. But their minds were blinded. For until this day, like today, like even today, when people read the Old Testament, there's a veil over their eyes. You see, there's two veils. There's a Jewish veil, and then there's a Christian veil. And the Jewish veil is this. They get confused reading the Old Testament, is that most Jews understand that the law of Moses, it did what? They understand that it did actually preserve their life from the violation of breaking the covenant. But it was an enactment of law. Most Jews do not fully recognize that the law of Moses, which is the book of the law, was to remain only until the death penalty position could be paid, allowing all Israel access back to the covenants of promise, of which the law of Moses and the book of the law is not. Most Jews do not understand that the blood covenant of Exodus 19 has been made new in Yeshua. That's why they fear setting aside any of the Torah instructions, the law as they know it in their lives, because they think that they are preserved by that law. And number two, the Christian veil or confusion in reading the Old Testament is this: that most Christians know that the law of Moses was abolished when Yeshua established a new blood covenant. Most Christians do not fully understand that the law of Moses was a distinct law enactment and not the whole of the Old Testament law. That most Christians do not realize that the blood covenant that was made new by Yeshua has Torah teachings and instructions attached to it. Most Christians set aside too much of the instructions of the covenant because of a misunderstanding of law and grace. The veil is there for both Christian and Jew until their hearts are turned to Yahweh and his covenants of promise, and they follow the teaching and instructions, the Torah of the covenants of promise. That's the key. Ephesians 2 verse 14 in closing. Yeshua is our shalom. Amen. Yeshua is our shalom. He has made both one. He's made both one. And he has broken down the middle wall of separation, having abolished in his flesh the enmity that is the law, or the book of the law of commandments contained in ordinances. Not contained in covenant, but contained in imposed, not agreed to ordinances, so as to create in himself one new man. From the two, thus making shalom. But I'm making this all up. Goodbye. I mean, really. But the ones that do say I'm making it up, got no scripture. You see? But what we like to do is to reinforce the truth using scripture, and that sets us free from the doctrines and dogmas of men.